Recently, I helped a family member buy a Kei truck off the side of the road in Japan and then do all the paperwork and ship that truck back to Australia, where it is right now. A little while ago, I promised you this story, and it's taken me a long time to get all the pieces together to be able to bring it to you today. But today we're going to look at how I found the Kei truck, what were the requirements for the Kei truck, and how I managed to organize the shipping of that truck back to Australia. Stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to take you shopping for some Japanese car accessories for my brand new Kei van that I just bought, my Suzuki Every. Some of the Japanese accessories that they sell for cars here are just amazing, and so are the shops that sell them. So I went into one of these car shops and bought a few accessories for my new Suzuki Every, and I can't wait to show you these accessories at the end of the video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Chani. I'm a middle-aged Australian who's a bit stuck in the rut, and I've moved over here to Japan, bought a property, and I'm working here as an English teacher. I'd love it if you subscribed and watched some of my videos on my journey setting up here in Japan. So as you know, I'm living here in the countryside, and I had a family member come over to visit, and he was particularly interested in the little Kei trucks that you see everywhere here in the countryside. So he started to think he'd like to take one back home to Australia with him. He was riding my bike around town while I was at work, and he saw a number of these older Kei trucks without number plates. We found out that anything that was 25 years or older he could take back to Australia. A little bit of research tells me that all of the regulations vary depending on what country you're from. So obviously I only have experience with Australia, but I'm sure you can check out what the regulations are in your country to bring a Kei truck home. So while he was riding around, he did find one that looked like it could be a possible candidate. The next problem was, how do we ask the owner if they're willing to sell it to us? Now, of course, this Kei truck had no number plate affixed, which means it wasn't registered, and it was just sitting there looking a little bit neglected. We knocked on the door and had a chat to the owners, who are very friendly, lovely people, and we found out that the Kei truck was his father's old Kei truck that nobody was using anymore. We asked him if he'd be interested in selling it to us so we could ship it back to Australia, and he said, yeah, sure, why not? So with a little bit of negotiating on price, we came up with a price of $600, Australian that is. So for $600, he wrote my family member a receipt, and the Kei truck was all his. Now the next problem was we couldn't drive this Kei truck because it was unregistered and obviously didn't have any insurance. So I looked up a tow truck company, and I managed to get the Kei truck towed somewhere near my house. Next problem was I needed to find a place to park the Kei truck. So near my house there was an empty parking lot, so I hired that parking lot for a couple of months. So while we had the Kei truck parked up in the empty parking lot, we went about getting all the paperwork ready. So we called a shipping company called Dolphin Shipping. And Dolphin Shipping said to us that to get the car on a boat, we'd need to organize an export certificate from our end. So we took the car's registration, the shaken, down to the Department of Transport here in Wakayama, and from that shaken certificate, we were able to produce an export certificate. Then we notified Dolphin Shipping that we had an export certificate and we were ready to go. Dolphin Shipping organized to come and pick up the Kei truck and take it to the shipping port. Once it got to the shipping port, they managed all the different things that were needed to get it ready to export to Australia. But before we let the Kei truck go out of our sights, we hid a little air tag inside the Kei truck, which would allow us to track the Kei truck as it made its way across the ocean to Australia, which was pretty fun to track. In this next part of the video, I'm going to introduce my family member to you over Zoom, and we had a little chat about what the process was like once the Kei truck arrived in Australia, and I'll also ask him how much it ended up costing in the end to get it fully registered and drivable in Australia. Do you want to learn Japanese? Join my latest course, Advanced Hiragana. Once again, this course comes with your very own workbook to fully solidify everything that you've learned so far. It's a multimodal style course with video lesson instructions that are device responsive. The course is self-paced, clear explanations, examples, and activities and answers for you to follow along. There's also a fun game online challenge app. Don't put it off. Join today. So I'm going to kick off the interview with the very first problem that my family member ran into with the car. And it was all about the invoice that we'd received when we purchased the car from the previous owner.
So they insisted on a tax invoice, and I told them I've only got a receipt. Just didn't believe that. They wanted to see the tax invoice, which I could not provide. So they insisted then on getting a proper vehicle valuation done on the car. So that $300 got me a valuation of $3,500. So therefore the GST component was $350. So that's okay. Pay that.
So you paid the equivalent of 600 Australian dollars, but because they didn't believe that was an accurate receipt, they then valued it at $3,000. Is that right?
$3,500. That's right.
$3,500, yeah.
So that incurred a cost of $300 for the valuation, and then another $350 for GST. So there's another $650. So that's okay. So we did the valuation. The next thing they wanted to do was an asbestos check. It had to be inspected for asbestos. So a week later, and a further $2,000. Men dressed in white suits. Anybody would think this vehicle was from outer space or something, a major biosecurity threat to Australia. What do you know? No asbestos found. Thank you very much. You can come and collect your vehicle. For the shipping component was approximately $3,500. And then I had to get the valuation, then I had to get the asbestos. So it just added up and up and up. But that's okay.
So you bought a car off the side of the road in Japan for about 600 Australian dollars. How much on the road was it in Australia once all was said and done?
On the road, I don't think I got change out of about $8,000. Yeah. So still a cheap car, but all the hoops you've got to go through. There's that language barrier and one thing and another. And it did a 7,000 kilometre journey, the little car.
Yeah.
I was quite excited to pick it up. Yeah. It's a great little car to drive, great little car around town. It gets plenty of looks. I polished it all up, tidied it all up, and really happy with it. It's got 80,000 kilometres on it, and it drives really, really well for what it is. And would I do it again? I'll let the dust settle on this, and I'll bring back another one maybe towards the end of the year or early next year. Yeah.
Really? Thank you so much for telling us the story about how you got the Kei Truck all the way from Japan to Australia.
A lot of fun, Chani. Thanks for that. Talk to you later, eh?
See ya. So there you have it. The Australian side of things seemed to be a little bit more complex and tricky than the Japanese side. Basically, the Japanese side was simply a matter of getting that truck somewhere where we could organise an export certificate, calling up Dolphin Shipping, and they handled everything from the Japan end. Once it's in Australia, I mean, that was a different matter, and I don't know what it would be like for you in your country. So onto my shopping spree. So this was some birthday money that I received to buy some accessories for my brand new Kei van, and I'm so excited to be able to go shopping in the Japanese car shops. They have some of the best accessories around. The first one is this little emblem charm. It's a cat, and it just sits on your car logo. There are so many different types of character goods, but I was really surprised to find these cat character goods. So this is a little seat belt. I don't know what you'd call that. It's something that goes on your shoulder, and so it just sits like that on your seat belt, so your seat belt doesn't rub. This is a steering wheel cover, and if you look closely, there are little cats and cat paws on it. So I found this awesome canvas car seat cover. It's all going with this nice wood grain sort of color scheme. Things, I don't know if you can see, it's not very clear. These little bolt things go over the bolts on your number plate. This is to go around your number plate. So this just makes your number plate look a little bit fancier with the bolts. If I'm going camping and I'm in somewhere where it's raining or a little bit muddy, that beige carpet is going to go yucky pretty quick. So I bought this clear plastic, just protects my nice carpet. Honestly, I could have had a field day, but I was gifted $50. So all of those goods came in under $50. So I spent my $50 birthday money, and I think they're going to look great in the car. This week's video has been a little bit different to usual, and everyone might think I'm a bit of a petrol head. I am not a petrol head, but I do love my new Kei van, my Suzuki Every, and I'm so grateful every day that I have it. I'm waiting for the weather to cool down a bit so I can go camping with Millie, and I also need to do something about setting up the camping area in the back of the car. So I'm just going to take my time on that one because it's a bit hot to do much at the moment. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again next week. Bye!